Yeah, this thing of righteousness, it's a persistent aspect of the ego self, the separate self. When I say ego, I mean that part of us that still believes itself to be separate, to be here, and the life out here doing something to us, which gives rise to the victim consciousness, and so on and so on. So to notice when righteousness arises. And righteousness is any kind of taking of a perspective, a standpoint, and believing that to be the truth. The truth for me, or the truth in more general terms, but usually has something to do with me. When you notice that, you will notice a tight fist in you. You will notice the grip of mind that doesn't want to let go of its viewpoint, of its standpoint, of its feeling of certainty in its own rightness. Even when it is a victim, it feels very right in being a victim. It is sure, it is certain, it is a victim. That is a standpoint, that is a position. Whenever there is a position, there is a tightness. Wherever there is a tightness, there is a war. There is a war in you. You are divided from yourself. You are suffering. You are divided from reality. You are divided in your mind, yeah, towards reality, towards what's being experienced. You are in opposition to it. You have created an enemy out of something, out of someone, out of some experience, out of some feeling, out of some thought, out of some circumstance. As long as you create an enemy, not only do you suffer, but the world suffers. Those around you suffer. Whatever you interact with suffers. So to notice that is a very good, very powerful, very beneficial seeing. Yeah? It is the beginning of the end of suffering. Because when you see it, you have a choice. And nobody else can do this for you. No spiritual teaching, no spiritual teacher can do this for you. Only you have that choice. The choice in seeing the righteousness, in seeing the creation of an enemy, in seeing the war within, in seeing the tightness. Your choice is to continue giving your allegiance to that tightness, or to surrender. The surrender is not a doing. The surrender happens when you stop giving your allegiance to the tightness. When you stop giving your allegiance to the tightness, there's a falling into the unknown. It's not a replacement with something positive. It's not a replacement with feeling good. When you stop giving your allegiance to tightness, you don't know. You don't know. It's a not knowingness. Surrender is the undoing of the tightness of knowing, of certainty. So you fall into openness. You lose yourself. You lose the self that is the one that is holding on so tightly with certainty. So it's an unknown experience because it doesn't have anywhere to land. It doesn't come to another position. It doesn't come to a position of relaxation. It doesn't come to a position of freedom. It doesn't come to a position of oneness. Positions are in the mind. It's not another perspective. It's not a safe landing place. It's an unknown. I can attempt to put words to it, but all words will turn it into a position. It's a discovery. It's a letting go. It's a death. It's a falling. It's an openness. An openness that doesn't have a position. An openness that cannot really be described. That's why St. John of the Cross says, "Let me quietly and with unutterable simplicity just love you." Unutterable simplicity. It's unspeakable. Openness is unspeakable. You have to discover for yourself what happens, what is here, what remains when you stop giving your allegiance to righteousness, to tightness. First of all, you have to be willing. You have to really want to stop giving your allegiance to tightness. First of all, you have to see it. Prior to that is the seeing of it. When I say seeing, the sensitivity towards it, it's the sensing of it. You sense it in your experience, in this moment and this moment and this moment. If there is a tight fist in your experience, if there is, and you see it and you notice it and you sense it and you admit it to yourself, you don't cover it over with something else, with a different experience, with a different feeling, with a yearning, with a rejection, with an avoidance, but you simply sense it here. This is the truth. No running away. No rejection. No imagination. Just the horror of resistance. That's the first step. Then you have a choice. If you like, it's a kind of asking yourself, is this what I really want? If the answer is yes, then carry on being this. There's nobody to judge you. You'll still get to heaven. God still loves you. It doesn't matter. Except that you will continue suffering and coming to satsang to look for the answer to suffering. I'm sure you've got better things to do. But if in your soul you can honestly say, I no longer want to give myself to the God of resistance because it hurts and I no longer want to hurt. Just in that admittance, already you have stopped giving your allegiance to it, and you will discover what remains, what is here, what continues to be alive when there is no resistance. Call that awakening or not, it doesn't matter. You can call it awakening to satisfy the spiritual ego, but it's better to call it nothing. Just make it your life's yearning. Make it your life's allegiance, if you choose.